Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm 17 years old and I'm starting my apprenticeship as a toolmaker.
Hello, my name is Alexandra. I'm 16 years old. I'm in 10th grade at high school.
Hallo, ich bin
I'm Dylan. I'm 18 and currently training to be a medical assistant.
Dylan, Alexandra and Daniel are each at very different stages in their personal and professional development. Alexandra is still at school, but she already has quite specific ideas about her career.
I know what I want to do. I want to work in an office, administration and economics and the whole paperwork thing. I really like doing that. You really have to enjoy your job and get up early in the morning and say, hey, I really like doing this, and not get up and say, I really don't feel like going in, I'm just doing it for the money.
Daniel is also in the transitional phase between school and work. At the moment, he's completing a pre-vocational training programme. And what does he do there?
We're learning how to write job applications. We're preparing for job interviews in particular. Or, when you're in the test workshop, you can file. Filing, sawing, drilling, these basic skills, you get them there too.
Dylan has already managed to get into a training position, and she has already gained some first industry experience. How did it all begin?
It was a school project. I was supposed to get some work experience at a job once a week. I signed up for it and I ended up here. Just in here, please. Just helping people. I actually always wanted to help people in one way or another, and in this job I can do that pretty well, and that's why I like coming in.
The case study focuses on the Bielefelder Jugendhaus. It is the local authority for coordinating the transition from school to work, and for vocational assistance for young people. Here, young people in the transitional phase are accompanied and supported with counselling and placement services, but there's more to it.
Die Herausforderung ist, dass diese jungen Menschen für sich schauen müssen, was sind meine Talente, was sind meine Fähigkeiten.
The challenge is that these young people have to find out an answer for themselves. What are my skills? What are my abilities? And yes, where does my path lead to? And our job is then to encourage these young people to meet these challenges and to skill them up.
Dass wir sie auch kompetent machen. Wir bieten ihnen an,
We offer them career orientation from 8th grade onwards, together with the schools and the Agency for Labour. We start in 8th grade, very hands-on, very playful, where young people can find out for the first time, what do I like, what's fun to do.
wo die Jugendlichen erstmalig überhaupt feststellen können, was macht mir Spaß.
Beruf ist etwas Tolles.
A job is something wonderful. To be employed, to have career prospects is fantastic. To convey this and take a step back and demystify it. Instead of saying, your working life is approaching, with all its threats and all its uncertainties. Rather, generating excitement for this step.
Diesen Schritt zu machen.
Alongside the wide range of services offered at the Jugendhaus, there are also transition managers like Friederike Köster, who encourage and support young people moving from school to work and career.
We assist young people in finding vocational training courses and support them throughout the entire application process. Young people who aren't ready for training programmes, who have special requirements and placement constraints. We also try to place them in programmes that are an exact fit for them.
From an academic perspective, however, there are recognisable weaknesses in the transitional system. It soon becomes clear that for many school leavers,
the normal transition is no longer transition into training measures and work. Rather, it is the transition into the transition system first. Yes, we have a relatively low unemployment rate, a low official youth unemployment rate in comparison to other countries, but that's because there is a relatively high number of young people in this transitional system and they are regarded as taken care of.
Along with this problem, the local transitional management,
and young people in particular also have to contend with structural deficits. That is, a lack of training positions. And in this context, we ask ourselves during our research, how can young people exercise their freedom to choose? How do they see their options in the context of their lifestyle and their career aspirations? Do we have to bring young people into the job market, squeeze them in by all means? Or isn't it also about looking at your life concept as a whole?
Reinbringen und reinzwängen, oder geht es nicht auch einen größeren Lebensentwurf?
But how can this be achieved? And how can businesses contribute to a successful transition?
It's important that companies once again see themselves as being responsible for what I'll call the occupational integration process. It doesn't matter what kind of school the student comes from, we'll accept any student who applies. If they pass the test or are successful on the application day, then all doors are open to them. We can't complain about not having junior staff if we don't train them ourselves. And the best specialists, I think, come from the businesses or practices that train their staff themselves.
And while Daniel masters his tasks in the test workshop, it's time for an overview.
What I really want is that all young people, really 100% of these young people, are offered this perspective. That we never assume that there will always be a reminder, always some people left out, and say, we don't care. Rather, that we always say, no. Only when we have taken everyone along with us can we say, it works. So it's about questions of justice after all, whether young people have choices in order to orient themselves towards their chosen profession, and whether they are also granted these career choices.
Bielefeld locals Alexandra, Daniel and Dilan have their very own specific goals for the future.
Just that I complete my apprenticeship, really.
I want to have a stable life. I want to finish a training program here in Bielefeld. First, I want to finish my training and of course to stay here if I can. To be independent is important to me, so that I'm independent later on and not dependent on anyone else. That's important to me.
Das ist mir wichtig.